Hey, how's it going, guys? Today I have another Heroics video for you. This time we are doing Blackheart Thicket. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different that I haven't done in my past Heroic videos. I'm going to basically have a little Photoshop piece of the overview, what the damage dealer does, hovering over each spell, same for the healers and the tanks. I'm going to do this for every single boss. Hopefully you guys like it. I'm trying to each video make it a little bit better, until I think it's about as good as it's going to get. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna skip to all the bosses. This dungeon is a straightforward dungeon. You just basically, open up your map and follow the road almost. The mobs, there's nothing too terrible about them. They're all pretty easy. I will let you guys know right now because you're gonna come into a couple more bears. They're gonna do a spell, which here it is right now. And every time they do it, takes a good chunk out of health from everybody, and it stacks. And so if you're fighting two bears, if they do it, well, that's 2 stacks already, and if you can't kill them fast enough, that's 3 or 4. You're going to start taking half damage each roar, or maybe a little bit more if you're kind of a squishy. As you can see, we had a pretty good team here. 3 demon hunters, a warrior, and then a healer. Kind of insane. Ended up pulling second in DPS. Not that anybody cares. I just thought that was kind of cool. So I'm going to stop rambling now. And we're going to go ahead and jump to the first boss. Alright, we are on Archdruid Glad-Alice, I'm assuming that's what it is. So the overview is, he's a master shapeshifter. He can transform into either a bear or cat form with no problem. And he calls down corrupted star shards to bombard his foes. Nothing too terrible. I feel like this, either the dungeon journal isn't really done, or maybe the bosses aren't done in this dungeon, because this was really easy with very minimal mechanics for being heroic. So damage dealers, you're going to want to avoid being in front of the Archdruid when he casts Primal Rage. For the healers, same thing, don't stand in front of him. And quickly heal targets affected by Grievous Tier to above 90% of their maximum health. And then for tanks, position the Druid so Primal Rampage doesn't, hit other players. If you do that, you guys are golden. Really easy fight, as you can see. None of us are really having problems, and he's almost dead. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it here. Nothing else really happens. I'll probably do that for the rest of the bosses. May not finish fighting them, but I'll make sure not to miss any mechanics. Okay, and here we are, the second boss. This is Oakheart. Oakheart is a devastating brute that pummels the players with powerful physical attacks and nightmare breath. Beware the strangling roots erupting from the ground during the fight. So for damage dealers, basically with every boss, avoid being in front of him during nightmare breath. Same for the healers. Also for the healers, crushing grip deals significant damage. Watch out for that. And I don't know what the hell's going on with every time this demon hunter used a spell, this black thing came up, which is really bad because you can't see anything. Hopefully they fix that soon. And then tanks, you want to make sure you face Oakheart away from everybody so we don't get hit by Nightmare Breath. And then of course, Crushing Grip deals significant damage. Also, make sure you don't run into the traps on the ground, the roots, otherwise you will get rooted. But you can kill them. At first, I kind of thought maybe I had to kill them, because usually stuff like that, you have to kill the ads or whatever else pops up. It's probably a good idea too, so there's not too many on the ground. But don't go out of your way to kill him. As you can see, there's one way over there to the left. Don't really worry about it. Not a big deal. But if there's 1 or 2 around, right here, do an AoE. I wouldn't really say single target him, and they start getting flooded by him. Otherwise, just keep focusing on the boss. Kill him. Pretty easy boss. Okay, this boss, Sarin, pissed me off a little bit. I'll let you guys know after I go through the mechanics. So basically, he engages players amidst a clutch of corrupted dragon eggs. Occasionally during the fight, he will use Downdraft to push the players back into the eggs, spawning whelplings. Damage dealers, avoid disturbing the eggs. Healers, don't touch the eggs. Tanks, don't touch the eggs. So he's using Downdraft right now. We wiped on this boss 3 times because the tank didn't know what the hell he was doing. Please, if you're a tank, bring the dude, the dragon, into the center of the room. Don't pull him against the eggs, and don't run into the eggs. Also, if you're a DPS, you see that mud on the ground? I know there's a black triangle fucking covering it up. Don't walk in it. It does a lot of damage. This is why I feel... Oh, yeah. And then the Breath of Corruption. Watch out. tanks, you can move out of it so you don't take too many stacks. This is why I think the dungeon journal isn't updated right now, because it doesn't even mention the stuff that hits the ground, that mud right there, or the breath of corruption, and I feel it should. Nowhere does it say that. I'm looking at it right now, so be prepared for that. This is the one time when this video would actually help you more than the dungeon journal. So after all that, he should be really easy to fight. So, you know, wiping on this boss was fucking ridiculous, but just make sure you pull him to the center of the room. Don't face him to anybody, and during downdraft, just push forward. You don't even need any kind of movement spells, because it really isn't that bad of a push. Okay, so we are at Shade of Xavius. Basically, this guy's an asshole. He sits down here, fucking with Malfurion. So at 50% health, he will cast something called Apocalyptic Nightmare in an attempt to burn Shaladrassil down around him. Make sure you watch out for that. Damage dealers, if affected by induced paranoia, stay away from other people to keep them from taking damage. Basically what I have right now. Unfortunately, with a full melee team, it's kind of hard to watch out. And if you're affected by Waking Nightmare, stand near other players to remove the silence of the thing, which is right there. So, you know, try to get next to somebody, you won't deal them damage or anything. So healers, you might have to start getting in melee range. As you can see, what he just did right there was the burning thing down. Healers, also watch out for Induced Paranoia or Waking Nightmare. And tanks, same thing, Induced Paranoia, Waking Nightmare. So for DPS, or melee I should say, Induced Paranoia is going to be a problem. And for healers and casters, Waking Nightmare is going to be a problem. Also, there's those like little swirls on the ground. Guess what? Just move out of the way, you won't get hit. So after all that, you know, you should have them pretty easy. I got feared there. I'm not actually sure why I got feared, but it happened. Again, not all the spells are in the dungeon journal. And then if you have the quest, you know, make sure you loot the ring. I think that's a mining quest actually. It is. Loot the ring, give yourself a pat on the back, and you just beat the dungeon. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all next time.